What's up, guys? I'm Random Frank P. And yes, it's finally here. Today we're going to be talking about and reviewing the brand new Logitech G Pro Wireless X Superlight, a follow-up from the G Pro Wireless. So we'll go through it all, talk about what's new, what's changed, and some few glaring points about this mouse. If you're thinking of picking it up, you're going to want to know. So rounding out 2020 with the year's worst kept secret, everyone knew this was eventually coming after numerous leaks from esports events. It was always just a matter of when and what did they actually change from the original. And given the name, Superlight, you can kind of guess it there, it shed nearly 20 grams from around 80 to now 63 without any holes in the shell. Just think about that for a second. They cut down nearly a quarter of its weight. And looks-wise, visually, not too much pops out at you right away. It's that same ambi egg shape that's trusted by many and proven by many in the esports world. But hey, everyone's hand size and grip and preference is going to be different. But some new features I was happy to see was the new and improved feet, a better sensor, light scroll wheel, and no RGB, giving it a really clean and simple design overall with the silver logo on the all matte black body. As for contents inside the box, you have your setup guide and some other documentation. You have the wireless dongle and the extension module if you don't want to plug the dongle directly into your PC. The extender will let you do that. You get a set of soft rubberized skins for the left and right clicks, as well as the size, and it's actually very grippy overall. I was pretty surprised. I'm definitely liking these. There's also a microfiber cloth, a PTFE replacement puck to swap out the stock puck that's on the bottom of the mouse already. This now just gives you more surface area for the feet. And then the same micro USB rubber cable with a Trident connector, which means yes, unfortunately for whatever reason, Logitech remains one of the few companies not transitioning to USB-C to charge this brand new mouse in 2020, nearly 2021. And that also means from what you saw inside the box, or what they excluded this time around, was that extra set of the interchangeable side buttons they used to give you. And I assume that, comes at the cost of the redesigned internals and the shell inside. They probably just couldn't make it work with the new weight. So I did want to point that out. And also, they're selling this mouse in like a really light gray or a white variant, which I think, personally looks equally as nice. And then again, taking a look at it, the reason they stuck with this shape in particular is because it's such a usable design for all different hand sizes and grips. And while some people will still find it uncomfortable, the fact is most users will find a grip that works for them with it. But yes, physically still more the same, minus those interchangeable side buttons. So lefties, I'm sorry they alienated you this time around. Then flipping it over, you'll notice there's no longer a DPI button underneath. So that'll all have to be done in the software or with a macro. Then also, as I showed you with that stock puck on the bottom of the mouse that comes out, you can also house your USB dongle in there, but you can swap it with the all PTFE puck for that extra glide. And by the way, they both weigh the same, so it won't change the overall weight of the mouse. And it's pretty obvious the jump in size the zero additive PTFE feet made. And it's the same thing as the marketed 100% version PTFE, but I agree, I like the zero additive name more, just sounds more appropriate. But they're not scratchy, they're nice and smooth all across different mousepad surfaces I've tried, so I'm a fan of these. For the sensor here, it's their Hero sensor with their Lightspeed technology, adjustable in increments of 50 from 100 DPI to 25,600 DPI. Not that anyone's ever gonna main it at that speed. It'll never really be necessary. It's more kind of like a flex at this point. I play it like 500, so yeah. But all in all, it's been great so far. No issues with lagging, no acceleration or liftoff issues. It's been pretty good. Then for size, it's still definitely on the medium to larger side. It comes in at 126 millimeters long, 40 millimeters tall, 63 millimeters wide at the back hips, then 61 millimeters at the middle grip width. But the fact that you effectively cut nearly 20 grams to the internals without needing to add holes in the shell, I think is really impressive. Now switches, before we get into that, we'll do a sound test so you could hear how they sound with all the clicks. Okay, so you heard the left and right clicks with their tensioning system, nice and tactile overall. I really like the side buttons here. They're really, discreet with the body, and it fits in really like uniform in a way. And they don't stick out to the point where you're gonna, accidentally press them, but they're also they're just right. They're a very good and satisfying click. The scroll wheel itself, you heard, very quiet. And there really isn't that sharp tactility to it when you're scrolling or pressing in, but it feels good. So it feels better than it sounds, if that makes sense. And in terms of durability, when I was, squeezing the top and bottom and the sides, there was no creaking, no give at all to the body. So that's very good to see, because considering they cut the internal shell, nearly 20 grams, it didn't, sacrifice the overall design. But speaking of durability, one thing I definitely noticed with my particular grip is the right click did definitely have some post travel, and it was more so when I would click near the scroll wheel, it would go in and sort of down to the left. It's hard to replicate when I'm not gaming in the moment, so I'll try to show you. But I did notice mainly on this side that there was just more post travel. Didn't really interfere with anything though. Okay, so now we could talk switches, and using my X-ray lens here, you can see we got some white Omron switches. It wasn't X-ray, I was just angling up and I didn't want to take it apart. But here's the thing, let me tell you a really quick backstory, okay? So this mouse, the G Pro Wireless, originally released in August of 2018. And that's when my wife and I bought a house, we packed up, we moved all within a 2-month period. So I missed a few things during those 2 months. I missed a lot of launches, this being one of them. So by the time we were all settled into the house, I bought one for myself, and it immediately had double clicking issues. So I never reviewed it, never really checked it out, because I was like, all right, I'm gonna RMA that and I'll move on. I got more important things to check out. And double clicking has been the #1 issue with the G Pro Wireless over the last 2 years. It's a great mouse, like I said, it's used widely in the esports community, but double clicking is a very, very big known issue. So, did they change that with this switch? My voice is cracking. Here's the thing, I don't know. I don't know what switches they're using here, because they don't openly disclose that. You can look anywhere you want. Nowhere in their press releases, nowhere on their website, in their marketing, nowhere will you find what switches they are. Are they 20 million? Are they 50 million? I don't know. All that I do know is they said that some changes were made to these switches. So, does that mean these are still gonna have double clicking issues? Does that mean that they fixed it? I'm not really sure, but I really feel like we should know that. And as a reviewer, I want to know that so I can tell you guys. Because if the #1 issue plaguing this mouse was double clicking, as consumers, we need to know if that was fixed. But unfortunately, they don't disclose that. I have no idea why. Will this have issues in a month, 2 months, a year, 2 years? I don't know. I'm really hoping whatever it was that they said that they fixed for this time around had to do with that. It would be great if I had any information on just what the particular model was. And again, I don't want to really open it up right now, because I'm going to be using this mouse for different videos coming out for the holidays, and I don't want to mess with anything. And I feel like, with common sense, that should have been openly addressed, and they should have fixed those problems. So that's why it's weird that they're not openly stating, yes, we did fix that. Like, the G Pro Wireless is one of the top selling mice of all time. It's a very popular and successful mouse. So if we're getting a follow-up, just tell us. Yeah, you made it lighter, but did you fix the #1 issue? I need to know. Now, battery life on here is rated for 70 hours, which is definitely a good sign. And I'll say the first day when I got this in, a little over a week ago, I used it that day for 12 hours straight between gaming and editing, left it on overnight, came back the next day, and only drained 4% total. So in that 24-hour time span for me using it and then keeping it on overnight, it drained 4%. Very happy to see that and its effective power management. And I charged it for 30 minutes just to see what kind of a boost we'd get, and we got around 30%. So that's an average of 1% per minute, obviously. And again, it would have been great to have USB-C, because the Model O Wireless, that has USB-C, and in my 30-minute charge test, it gave me full battery from being completely dead. So why not have it now, Logitech? Then before we wrap up is their G-Hub software. It is very simple, easy to use. The main tab, you can change up to 6 programmable buttons and just decide what you want them to be, from macros, keyboard shortcuts, launching software, anything like that, and tied into certain programs. And then for adjusting the DPI, like I said, increments of 50 from 100 to 25,600. But what I do like is you'll note each of the DPI steps you have are color coordinated, and that'll actually then reflect to a little LED on the mouse itself, so you know what DPI you're at. Easiest way to toggle between them is just activating the G shift in their software and assigning one of the keys to do that. So to recap then, for me, I haven't had any issues. Like I said, gaming's been fine. The nice new zero additive feet with the massive just surface area underneath feels really good. No issues while gaming, but that's 100% what I expect. So long-term wise, that's what we're gonna have to keep an eye on. Will this have double clicking issues? I'm happy they physically didn't change too much because again, trusted shape, used and loved by many. I like that they're giving us some color options. No RGB means better battery life, and this has great battery life. And the new and improved feet definitely feel really good. And as for switches, that's kind of up in the air because I don't know if they're different, don't know if they're better, don't know if they're the same, so tough to say. For cons, that's definitely an obvious that it should be USB-C. 2021 is next month and we're still charging with micro USB? Come on. And then the point that's gonna hit everyone right in the hearts is this still costs $150. Which, yeah, they got away with the G Pro wireless and it sold like hotcakes. Again, one of the most top selling mice of all time, and they did it then, they'll do it now. But my issue with that is the entire landscape has changed in the last 2 years. We've had great lightweight wireless mice come out that have been significantly cheaper. Yeah, the Viper Ultimate's right on par with that, but you have the Ponage Ultra Custom. That's $100. I think it's even down to like $80 now. You have the Rival 3 and the Aerox 3, both under $100. The brand new Model O Wireless, what was that, $80? And while yeah, this is definitely on the lighter side of all those for sure, it's very impressive how light this is, still charging $150 and nearly double the price of the Model O Wireless. That's a tough pill to swallow. So it's very, very hard for me to give you guys a definite yes, I recommend this mouse, because in the end, right now, it's very good. I do like it a lot. I've had no issues. But again, the main point here is we don't know what switches are being used or what improvements they've made over time. And until they address that, until they tell us, it's a big shrug. You know what I'm saying? And if you are a G Pro wireless lover, if the price doesn't matter to you and you're just rolling in the Benjamins, you just want a lighter version of the original, cutting down now to 62 grams without holes, then sure, you're gonna be picking this up, you know, regardless. But for me right now, it's just tough to give you guys an honest recommendation with the switches still remaining a giant question mark. So alright guys, that'll wrap it up for my review of the Logitech G Pro X Superlight. Hope you enjoyed. If this video helped you out, give it a big thumbs up to show your support. Feel free to follow me on Twitter at randomfrankp. And last, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Got a lot of holiday videos coming out. Well, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.